Hey guys, my name's Gavin, welcome back to a brand new video. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make guitar loops for artists like Roddy Ricch and Toosii. This is going to be a super simple loop today. I'm just going to show you guys what you can do with just a couple sounds. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and I just came out with a new loop kit. It's the pressure loop kit. I'm going to have Miles play a few of the loops from the kit right now. And if you feel like checking it out, there's going to be a link down in the description for you to go click on. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I have done this in a couple of my videos now. I start out with an Omnisphere guitar, and then I actually have Miles go in and play the guitar, the MIDI that I came up with, onto an actual guitar. So when I'm making these melodies, I like to use the flamenco guitars, either A or B. I think A just has a little bit more reverb than B, but I like the sound that B gives. It's a little bit more dry, and you can mess with it a little bit more. So I'll play the final sample for you guys first so you can hear everything. We're gonna start with the guitar. Just a super simple melody. It looks a little much, but it's just really going down the scale here. I'll show you how I did that. But first we have chords. We just have an A minor chord right here. They're just arpeggiated. And then I just dropped down to this E. Just picked two notes that I thought led well down into this part, which is an F major chord. All this notes in the scale. This is called the leading tone. It's actually not in the scale, but it does a good job creating that like dark feel, and helps lead back up to the first beginning note. So this part's really kind of connected to this part. Think of this almost as like an octave higher in the melody. So this is called is it chromatic sequence? Something chromatic. It's basically the notes that are next to each other in a scale. So for my scale, I'm in A harmonic minor. The C and the B are together. So these are also chromatic notes. That really gives a nice dark sound, especially because that G sharp is the leading tone, which technically isn't in the scale, but it's really good for giving that dark feel. Then we have another set of chromatic notes right here. So when I listen to these, I really think these sequence of notes really do a good job capping these off. When you're making melodies, think of it like a call and response. Like this is the call or someone talking, saying something, and this is the response. So you're going down the scale and then back up. I think those just do a really good job at like connecting and giving a good sense of closure. So yeah, that just loops. And now these, I thought they weren't originally there, but I just threw them in just to help give us a little bit more rhythm. And yeah, that loops throughout the track. I had Miles go in and play it onto actual guitar, and this is how that sounds. I just put a lot of EQs to get out a little bit of the low end here. There was a harsh frequency right here, so I cut it out with an EQ. A little bit of retro color, the vinyl 1, just using the space, and a little bit of distortion. And then guitar rig, I had the airy vocals preset on it. I really like the way that adds texture to it. So this is before. Then after, you hear that a little bit more noise added in, it's a little bit more grainy. Those are the guitars, and we have a bunch of just little accents here. So for the remainder of these sounds, I wanted to have a little bit of contrast going on because these are pretty dry sounding, the guitars. They're full and stuff, don't get me wrong, but felt like to make the melody sound a little bit more full and complete, we needed a lot more ambience. So we can talk about the bass line, just following the root notes, like a distorted bass here. The Scarby Rickenbacker bass from Contact. So I didn't put any effects on the Scarby Rickenbacker bass, I just turned it down a lot, so it was tucked in the background. First thing I have here is a vocal. I'll play it. This is just me humming into the microphone or singing into the microphone. This is what the vocal sounds like without any effects on it. So you can hear it's like really choppy, and you can hear the clicks in there, but that doesn't matter once we add all the effects onto it. We have Valhalla Vintage Verb here. So I doused it in reverb and then turned the decay all the way down to 2 seconds. An EQ here to cut out the high and low frequencies to make it sound underwater. That really helps get rid of that bug sound that you get from having it pitched up an octave. Then Crystallizer, I used the flitter verb just to give it a little bit more texture. And then I have this plugin. It's another auto tune, and I use the performance button right here to pitch it up, but it doesn't act like a normal like pitch up in FL Studio. It does something a little bit different. I don't know exactly what, but that's what it sounds like with and without. Super simple melody, but I think it does a really good job supporting this main melody that we have going on here. And now after that, we have another melody with a Labs piano free plugin. I highly recommend that you guys go check it out. It's just a little counter melody, but I put a lot of reverb on it and treated it almost like a pad. So this is what that sounds like. There's not too much to say about this. I just picked out a couple notes that I liked in the scale. I made sure that I randomized the velocities a bunch to make it sound a lot more realistic, like someone was actually playing it. You guys have all heard that 1,000 times, but I really like these notes, how they wrap up and create a sense of closure, and especially when paired alongside with the vocal. For the effects that I put on that, it's just an EQ, treating it like a vocal like you guys just saw there, and then a reverb, except I turned down the mix knob just to 70%. To still try and keep like a little bit of that piano sound in there, but not too much. It's still like completely overpowered with reverb. We have one more sound here, and it is just this really subtle, like you can't really even hear it, piano from Omnisphere, the far away retro piano. So that's what it sounds like. And it just loops those 3 notes. Super simple. Put it in there to kind of support these again. But yeah, that's basically the final loop. After that, I rendered everything out, having all the sounds playing here and then just one sound playing at a time, and I gave everything 8 bars of space, let the reverb drain out. 8 bars is pretty generous. Normally you can get away with like 4, but if you're using loops with like higher reverb on the tail end that like fades over, I would recommend that you use 8 just to make sure that reverb can drain out. It's easy to see like when each part stops, I guess, and starts. So this is just the melody. So we duplicated this one down here. I do this in like almost all of my videos. Pitched it up an octave after we made it unique as a sample. This is actually called parallel processing when you do this technique. All I did was treat it like a vocal, have a lot of reverb. I used the fruity reverb because I like this separation knob right here with the wet completely, and took out all the dry. That's what it sounds like. Goes from this to this. Then I EQ'd it like I do my vocals. And then I added that auto pitch and move the performance up an octave too. And now paired alongside this one, and all I did was for this one was add ozonate elements, and I used the guitar depth preset here and just mix back the mix knob over here because I thought it was a little bit too strong when it was at 100%. But yeah, this is what the final loop sounds like. Alright, so that's the final loop. Something super simple, super ambient and full sounding. Perfect for drums to be thrown onto it and sent off to an artist. That's a pretty like universal sounding loop in my opinion. I feel like a lot of artists would fit well on that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you'd like to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an awesome day. Peace out.